Hello YouTube, my name is Hero and today we're going to be discussing something a lot of people may not know about Black Desert, and that is the PvP and the PK rulings for the NA and the EU server. Now you may not even know about this, and if you have read the CB2 patch notes, you'll see that the karma system, which is basically the in-game PK punishment system, has been altered, and for someone who hasn't played the game, some of the things here can be a little confusing, so we're just going to go through them together really quickly. Now the first thing we're going to see here, which is very important for anyone who's interested in PvPing in Black Desert, is Guild Wars. Now Guild Wars are very important because they allow you to PvP for grinding locations and things like that without ever reaping karma benefits. You see, your guild can declare up to 6 wars at the same time, and each declaration will cost 200,000 silver, which isn't much at all, especially for a guild. And on top of that, you won't have to pay an upkeep cost, which would mean that typically you would have to pay a reciprocal amount of silver over time in order to keep that war going. But on our server, you can just declare the war, and after you've paid the 200k, the war basically will never end. The enemy team can choose, the enemy guild can choose to accept the war or decline the war, and even if they do decline the war, it doesn't matter because you still can declare it. So there's literally no way for them to get out of it besides changing channels and hiding, essentially. So this is very important for someone who wants to PK without reaping the negative karma penalties for PKing. Speaking of those karma penalties, let's get into those right now. Now, according to the CB2 patch notes, which we can only assume we will get the same exact system in launch, it's only logical to believe that the penalties are increased based on your range, and the ranges are positive 300,000 to 150,000, and after that the range goes from a positive 150,000 to 0. Once you reach 0, you reach the negative karma range, which is 0 to negative 500,000, and then after that it goes from negative 500,000 to negative 1 million, which is the absolute cap for negative karma. Now let's dissect that for a moment, shall we? Now if we go back a little while later, we'll see that the administrators of the English version of Black Desert Online proposed a karma flagging system. I'm going to post that here in the video. This system showed that a white player would have the range of 150,000 to 300,000. A yellow player would have a range of 150,000 to 0. A purple player would have a negative 500,000 to negative 1, basically 0. And a red outlaw player would be negative 500,000 to negative 1 million. These ranges are the exact same ranges as the ones that were proposed, or the ones that are actually already implemented. So it goes to say that you can pretty much assume that the initial proposed system is almost identical to the system that we have that we will have in launch, because we had it in closed beta too. So that being said, let's dissect this further. All right, so let's start with the white player. Say you're at 300,000 karma, which is exactly what you should be at by the time you hit 50 or very close to it. All right, in order to PvP, you must flag up, and if anyone attacks you, they lose 10,000 karma immediately. If anyone murders you, they lose 60,000 karma immediately. The penalties of you dying as a white player is 1% EXP loss in PvE and a gem loss. These are the possibilities. And PvP death is 1% EXP loss. Gem, I'll have to make a video about that. I don't think I'll have enough time to discuss that in this. Okay, and once let's say for this video we're gonna go in the mind of a PKer. Let's say I'm the PKer. I'm a white player. So if I go after let's see, if I go after, it'll take me to I'm very bad at math, so it's 70,000 per white player that I kill. If I kill if I kill 2 white players, that'll be 140,000. If I kill 3, then that'll push me into the yellow bracket. Now I'm a yellow player. If I'm a yellow player, I still must flag for PvP, and if I'm assaulted, I will lose 10,000 karma. If I get murdered, they only lose 40,000 karma. They don't lose 60 because I'm a little bit more negative than a white player, so they won't lose as much. You still get the same death penalties as a white player. So being a yellow player isn't really that big of a deal. So you can so right there you can see that the minimum amount of people that you can kill without even losing anything or having really any penalties towards you is pretty much 3 people. Actually, you could probably push it to 4, but we'll get on that later. Now, a purple player, which is a rogue, this is when you've killed so many people that you reach negative 500,000. -1 to negative 500,000. You must flag for PvP, and getting assaulted, or which is attacked. That anyone who attacks you, they'll lose 10,000 karma for being attacked. That's pretty much across the board here. And if you get murdered, the person who kills you will lose 30,000 karma. Now let's backtrack. Say if you're a white player and you have 300,000 karma, you can essentially kill 10 purple players before you even get to yellow. You could kill 10 players before you even get to purple. You kill 10 players. Keep that in mind. 10 purple players before you yourself get to purple in a row consecutively. Okay. Now the death penalties for a purple player are a little bit more extreme. PvE death is the same, but PvP you have a chance to lose a gem, which is really not a big deal. You have a random respawn location, but it's in the same region, so it isn't so bad, and durability loss, which also isn't so bad. Now here is the interesting part of this whole thing. Okay. Now, once you become a rogue, you get a rogue debuff. Once you get this debuff, you'll be getting a reminder saying you have low karma, and it'll explain the additional penalties for having low karma. But the thing is, you will receive no more penalties for PvPing against a rogue or an outlaw. So that means if you see a purple player, you can attack them instantly, and you won't lose anything. You won't lose a thing. You won't lose anything at all. And if they're purple or if they're red, you won't lose anything, which is just great, because if you're a purple player, you can be fighting a purple player and not have to worry about going all the way to an outlaw. You'll just be a rogue. Being a rogue really isn't that bad. You don't lose much when you die, and people, if they attack you, they still lose karma. They don't lose much, but they still lose karma. Now, what you don't want to be is a red player. A red player is just too far. A red player is always flagged for PvP, and if anyone attacks you, they never lose any karma. If anyone attacks you, they never lose any karma. You lose more % per EXP loss. You have a higher chance of losing your gems. You have a random respawn location in a different region. You have increased durability loss. The guards will attack you, which is the largest things. You can't even go into towns, and more experience loss. But another thing is you'll have the same debuff as you did when you were a purple player. So keep that in mind. If you are a red outlaw player, you can attack purple players and you won't lose any more karma. So that's not really you can still attack purple players, and red players, of course, but you won't lose any karma. So it's not a really big deal if you see a purple player, but you might want to stay away from a yellow player or white player for a little while until you get your karma back up. Now, the way you get your karma back up is by simply killing mobs and things like that. Grinding on mobs and stuff like that. It's very important that you don't get too carried away. You have to control yourself. And what I recommend for someone who wants to PK is to just stay purple. Don't go please don't go below negative 500,000. You can control yourself from that. As long as you stay purple, that's fine, especially if you consider that you can attack red players and purple players without losing any karma at all. That is huge. That is huge for PvP for this game, and I can't wait to see where everything's going to happen from there. And if you don't even want to go all the way to purple, you can stay as a white player and just attack purple players and red players. Attacking red players loses karma, but attacking purple players you only lose 40,000. So it's not so bad, it's really not so bad. It's just all about self-control and not going too far, not just killing everything and everyone you see. Okay, you have to kind of be reasonable. You can kill like one person here, one person there, kill a few mobs, come back, kill some person, and etc, etc. So yeah. Now keep in mind, guys, that what I'm referring to right now is actually the proposed PK system. It's not completely implemented, it's just somewhat implemented. All the ranges are the same, so it's like they're trying to implement it, or they think they're going in that direction. But if you guys like this PK system, you guys should let your voice be heard. Especially, this is something that you guys should definitely let the moderators of the forums know about this, and say you really think that this is a good PK system, or if you don't think it's a good PK system, let them know, because they are going in this direction, and they think this is what we want. And I think this is a great system. I think it's fair all around the board, and what we have right now is good, but I think this system is just a little bit better. It promotes PvP just a little bit more, makes everything just a little bit more fair, and that's what we're all here for, right? So yeah, guys, make sure you let your opinions be heard, and keep in mind that this video is directly taken from the Black Desert forums, and everything in here is directly taken from the Black Desert forums, and everything is subject to change. Yeah. So anyway, this is Hero. See you next time.